Hey everyone, how are y'all doing today? I hope you're doing good, and if y'all are Dubs fans, keep your heads up high because just like my good friend Harvey Dent would say, the night is darkest just before the dawn, and I promise you, the dawn is coming. Guys, I love using that phrase. You should try it out sometime when things aren't going your way. Anyways, I want to give you some Warriors talk today and what's been going on these days with the Dubs. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about. A hard-fought 7-point loss against the Miami Heat, a 53-point blowout against the Raptors, and then a close-fought 6-point loss against the Atlanta Hawks are hard pills to swallow, but there is light at the end of this dark tunnel, guys. I mean, there is an extremely bright light next season when Klay returns. We all know that. But just for this video, let's stick with the now, the here, the today. Smash that like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and let's see how close the Warriors are to climbing out of the darkness. Just before we get started with why the Warriors need to sign Jeremy Lin, I want to just address some of the recent losses that have piled up. That 53-point loss to the Raptors, Steph and Draymond weren't playing, but still, guys, that's just unacceptable, right? That was actually a tough game to watch. I looked up actual NBA historical statistics, and guess what? It was actually one of the biggest margin difference losses in NBA history. I guess the Clippers must have felt good about that loss because it officially lets them off the hook of having the biggest loss of the season when they got absolutely crushed by the Dallas Mavericks early on in the season. The Raptors aren't playing good basketball this year either, which is why that loss was so frustrating. I mean, against the Brooklyn Nets, a 53-point loss is still unacceptable, but when it's an 18-win, 30-loss Raptors team that beat you by 53, just like Steve Kerr said, some soul-searching has to be done. When a team loses this bad, it's not the result of a lack of execution or set plays or anything of that sort. It's an effort and energy problem that seems to be lingering issues with the Dubs this season for some reason. Anyway, moving on to the next game against the Hawks, Curry and Green were back in the lineup. Man, you have no idea how happy I was when I turned on my Instagram and it showed that those two studs were going to be part of the starting five. I checked a few different sources immediately to make sure no one was playing no late April Fool's pranks on me because dang, I got fooled a few times this year. Probably because I was maybe drinking one too many beers. Anyway, Steph Curry ended up playing for 37 minutes and had 37 points. In the plus-minus column, Steph Curry was a +8. What that meant was for the 11 minutes that he wasn't in the game, his team was outscored by 14 points. Steph thoroughly outplayed the Hawks' young star Trae Young, but the Hawks bench thoroughly outplayed the Warriors bench 55-19, and that was pretty much the ball game. Strength in numbers doesn't seem to fit the Warriors this season. There's too many young guys on the roster who don't yet have the experience to keep up with the NBA level talent. And this leads me to my main point of today. The Warriors need to sign Jeremy Lin. They need to sign him pretty bad. Jeremy Lin was a part of the Warriors' G League affiliate this season, and what he proved was that man can still ball. He averaged about 20 points per game while dishing out 6 assists per game, and he was shooting the ball really efficiently as well. 50, 40, and 90 is what he almost achieved. He was at about 51% from the field, 43% from beyond the arc, and 88% at the free throw line. So not only can the man put the ball in the basket, he can also do it in a real efficient way. Jeremy Lin is a veteran who can chip in a bit with his experience. If he comes off the bench, he can expect to play anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes per game, which would be perfect for him. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Jordan Poole and Nico Mannion's game, but I feel that these two don't quite yet have the experience of leading an NBA unit. Lin, on the other hand, has been the starting point guard of about 4 NBA teams in his career, so he understands how to effectively run the offense, control the pace, and most importantly, get the party started. The Warriors bench needs some serious help here, guys. I mean, a 53-point loss one night, then getting outscored by 14 points when your star player is on the bench is absolutely devastating. Jeremy Lin is a professional who can stop the bleeding when Steph Curry isn't in the game. And I don't understand why the Warriors haven't signed him to a veteran's minimum salary yet, or even to a 10-day contract or something. I mean, the space is there. By trading away Wanamaker and Chris, 2 open roster spots have been open, and the Warriors need veterans to fill those spots badly. Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston were some of the foundational support that keeps the Warriors team together during their dynasty run. With those players now playing for different teams or retired, the Warriors need to add new vets because leadership is really important off and on the court for stability. During the Raptors' 2019 championship run, it's true that Jeremy Lin didn't contribute too much playing time, but what he did was sharpen the rest of the roster during practices and scrimmages. He knows the work ethics required to win at the highest level, and he's also proven time and time again that he knows how to win. I mean, last year in the Chinese Basketball Association, Jeremy Lin dropped 41 points in the All-Star game, and by the end of the season, he was also a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Whenever Steph is on the floor, the Warriors are going to have a high probability of outscoring their opponents. Even in the Miami Heat game a few nights ago, Curry was still a +2 in the plus-minus column when he erupted for 36 points. But when he's on the bench, it's the same old story. The Warriors are just getting pummeled and their energy drops to 0, which leads me to another point why the Warriors need to sign Jeremy Lin. The 32-year-old Harvard graduate is an energy player. For example, when Andrew Wiggins drops a couple of bombs from the outside, it's just another day, another dollar. But when Jeremy Lin drops a couple of threes, it's Linsanity again, and that energy is contagious. Energy isn't on any stat sheet, but it's definitely there, and it's definitely impacting the game. I just got word as well that the Chase Center could be opening up to a 35% capacity real soon. So if Lin was added to the roster, this extra boost of energy could really help on both ends of the court and could be the difference between an L or a W. Heck, the Warriors this season are starting to lose its colors, and this extra energy could really put the color right back in. There are 22 games left in the season, and although the Warriors have one of the easiest schedules ahead of them, unless they capitalize on them and start winning some games, their chances of making the playoffs or even the play-ins are going to slip away. The good news is, when everyone is healthy, this Warriors team is pretty good. Sure, they lost against the Heat and the Hawks at full health, but those were close games against 2 teams that are actually playing their best to avoid the play-in tournament in the East. Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre have been playing pretty dang good basketball as of late, and the Warriors are looking a lot better. There are just a few tweaks here and there that need to be made, especially with the bench. Then this Warriors team can actually contend. 22 more games left. That's about a month and a half left of practice for the Warriors to get them ready for what looks to be a series against the Jazz or the Suns. And the good news is, in either of those series, the Warriors are going to have the best player on the floor, Steph Curry. I'm still going to have a ton of beer stacked and stored regardless, guys. It's going to be a fun ride with tons of bumps. They may cause some bruising and stuff, but hey, I knew Harvey didn't.